Well, let's have a second run here of The Blonde Stranger in the Creek, Chapter 7, Questions on God. As I goeth, as I goest along my quest, through the trials of death and life, may the God bestow me with the powers over exaltation and depression, synthesis and analysis, Mercury, desire and fear, Venus, reputation, Sun, pleasure and pain, Mars, gain and loss, Jupiter, life and death, Saturn. The tree shuffled outside my window. This it often does at the time for the talks that reach to my very sinew. Fiery air addresses airy water as the sunlight disappears. Glittering appears, though. He needs no priestly robe. She needs no acolyte shawl. Walking are still. Here comes the words about all. Please, said airy water, tell me of God. How do you know He exists? What is God's essence? What are his what is his personality? Now, I'm not I can't get her voice right, and my imitation of a female is kind of off, but where can I start? Said Fiery Air, as he looked at one of his bookshelves. The room was getting darker, just as he liked it. All that we say is like a needle in the ocean pulled out. Does the water left on the needle after shaking it really compare to the ocean? No, but what can you say then? All are destined to know of the God. As it says in a legendary saying, a hadathana, of Muhammad, attributed to God, I was a hidden treasure, and I desire to be known and loved. Known and loved. Therefore, I created the universe. Airy Water questioned again how Fiery Air knew God existed. I have belief, because much of what I'm told has stuck to my mind and heart. I have faith because of the physical universe, because the physical universe seems to point me towards that belief. I know because I have experience. Airy Water asked, What is your experience? Fiery Air answered, Mostly it is the knowledge of certain matters. The more one looks into a subject, the more there seems to be more. The more one looks into a subject, there seems to be more. Also, I see, when I look at my experiences, holy or mundane, there are always ones that transcend others. Indeed, all my knowledge and experience don't seem to reach the boundaries of anything. When you learn and experience, that makes you think you know and experience less of what there is? Yes. Shall I teach you of when I experienced God's presence? You may. One spring day a few years ago, I walked across the grounds of Clark Community College here in Vancouver, listening to Al Quran and reciting, or just reciting. I don't remember which. I should have detailed notes of it somewhere. Walking amongst the cherry blossoms falling off around 20 trees, time slowed down dramatically. I could hear the word Allah with every white and pink petal falling in the wind. Allah, the God. Allah, the power. Allah, the astonishing. Said the most beautiful and melodic voices one could hear. I felt Allah's presence. I mean, one goes around just thinking that everywhere is God. This is not the same as experiencing the presence. There is nothing that I can say to let you know what that is like. Will I know a day like that? Asked Airy Water. Fiery Air postulated, on your day of judgment you will know. As for in this life, I know not what you will know of the metaphysical. True knowledge of such is not something that you will arrive at merely because another has it. You must have substantial evidence and experience for yourself. Some knowledge is only held by one person. There are a few guarantees with knowledge. Belief leads to faith, which leads to knowledge. I can only offer to help with belief and acquiring faith, if the God wills it, inshallah. For you, if I believe in something without proof, I may know of it someday. If I believe in something without proof, I may know of it someday. Yes, but just don't believe in anything, nor negate everything. Not from you firsthand. Okay. Fiery Air continued. Of God's essence, substance, core, that is something too transcendent to talk about, to think about, yea, to even use one's feelings with. We are to reflect on God's persona. Airy Water asks, is persona like a personality? Yes and no. Persona is the way you are seen and perceived by others. God's personality is distinctive. Al-Quran 112:4 says, none is like him in anything. God is the best, the most, the purest, are the source of all and every way he manifests. God's personality is the universe seen through 5 worlds of spirit, soul, emotions, mind, and body. The parts of myself are worlds, she puzzled. And worlds within worlds, if you only knew. The realms of direct divine manifestation, light beings, fire beings, and that of the humans are all experienced through the parts of ourselves. That is why people say all is within you. We understand all else in terms of ourselves. Airy Water questioned, you spoke of God's personality. What do you mean? Fiery Air answered, the God is the most, purest, and the best in any quality that justly describes him. I may go over the list of 319 from Al-Quran and Hadith, our list in a language other than Arabic. Today I could sing you a list of 99 from those 319, if you'd allow me.
Sure.
Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman, the beneficent, Ar-Rahim, merciful, Al-Malik, the sovereign, Al-Qudus, the Holy One, As-Salam, the source of peace, Al-Mu'min, the guardian of faith, Al-Muhaymin, the preserver of safety, Al-Aziz, the exalted in might, Al-Jabbar, the irresistible. He vibrated lowly. Al-Mutakabbir, the justly proud, Al-Khaliq, the creator, Al-Bari, the evolver, Al-Musawwir, the fashioner, Al-Ghaffar, the forgiver, Al-Qahhar, the subduer, Al-Wahhab, the bestower, Al-Razzaq, the provider, Al-Fattah, the opener, Al-Alim, all-knowing. Fiery air raised its pitch very slowly. Al-Thabid, Al-Thabid, the constrictor, Al-Basit, the expander. Thabid, yeah, I got that wrong. Al-Kambid, the constrictor, Al-Basit, the expander, Al-Qafid, the baser, Al-Rafi'a, the exalter, Al-Mu'izz, the honorer, Al-Mudhilla, the dishonorer, As-Sami'a, all-hearing, Al-Basir, all-seeing, Al-Hakam, the judge, Al-Adl, the just. It was said ever so softly. I'm not saying it as well today. Al-Latif, the subtle, Al-Khabir, the aware, Al-Halim, the clement, Al-Alim, the magnificent, Al-Ghafur, the facer, Al-Shakur, the appreciative, Al-Ali, the most high, Al-Kabir, the greatest, Al-Hafiz, the preserver, Al-Muqit, the sustainer, continued the divine homily. Al-Hasib, the calculator, Al-Jalil, the sublime, Al-Karim, the generous, Al-Raqib, the watchful, Al-Mujib, the responsive, Al-Wasi', the all-embracing, Al-Hakim, the wise, Al-Wadud, the loving, Al-Majid, the glorious, Al-Ba'ath, the resurrector, went the words that seemed to call me. Ash-Shahid, the witness, Al-Haqqa, the truth, Al-Wakil, the trustee, Al-Qawi, the strong, Al-Matin, the firm, Al-Wali, the patron, Al-Hamid, praiseworthy, Al-Muhsi, the examiner, Al-Mundi, the originator, Al-Mu'in, the restorer. The names can make one feel quite buzzy. Al-Muhyi, with the quality that gives life. Al-Mumit, the bearer of death. Al-Hayya, the alive. Al-Qayyum, the self-subsisting. Al-Wajid, the finder. Al-Majid, the noble. Al-Majid. Al-Wahid, the unique. Al-Ahad, the only one. As-Saman, the eternal. Al-Qadir, the able. The sound filled at least me. Al-Muqtadir, the powerful. Al-Muqtadim, the expediter. Al-Muakhir, the later. Al-Awwal, the first. Al-Akhir, the last. al-Zahir, the manifest, al-Batin, the hidden, al-Walid, all-governing, al-Mutali, the most exalted, al-Barra, the source of all goodness. It was like a lullaby in its melody. At-Tawwab, the acceptor of repentance, al-Muntaqim, the avenger, al-Afuwa, the pardoner, Malikul Mulk, owner of owner of kingship, Dhul Jalal wal Ikram, Lord of majesty and bounty, al-Muqsit, the equitable, al-Jamia, the gatherer, al-Ghani, the self-sufficient, al-Mungani, the enricher. He continued humbly. Amania, the preventer and Dara, the distresser and Athia, the propitious and the light, Al-Hadi, the guide, Al-Badiyah, the incomparable, Al-Baqi, the everlasting, Al-Warith, the supreme inheritor, Al-Rashid, the reasoner, As-Sabur, the patient. Thus I finished the invocation that evoked me. Airy Water paused for a moment to see if he was done. That was nice, she cooed. Aren't some of these things I could or should be? Fiery Air replied. We should identify with them all, and at least the sense of servant, devotee, and slave of Arabd. We manifest these qualities in limited ways. There are things we can't or shouldn't be. We shouldn't be proud. We should never call ourselves king of kings or complete in majesty. Our competition is primarily with ourselves in goodness. We should be more aware of how the divine emanations act upon us. That is how to learn their story in this world, and perhaps gain experience of them, thereby developing ourselves. Isn't that why a lot of people pray to angels, saints, and stuff? Yes, he replied. When we call upon the God alone, we don't need to call on any else to get our prayers answered, no matter how specific. All the manifestations, holy or mundane, are there if we call on them or not. When the God allows manifestation to occur, many people realize the spark of divine presence in it and worship it. God is in me and I am in God. This is what everything can say. But we forget. And, oh Jesus. Raphael. That rock on the table. No. These are not. God is not material. God is just present. God is. Airy Water asked, why do people talk of God as being in heaven and nowhere else then? Fiery Air responded, it stems from two things. God is omnipresent, and the awareness of the God beyond is more primal. The God here is harder for most to believe in. Or they turn something here into God, some creation. The second stems from dogmas based on linguistic misunderstandings. Like Christian not knowing what Messiah is, or Emmanuel, and coming up with their own meaning. So the heaven where they say God is not the sky? In a contextual way of speaking, generally yes. In a passage of Al-Quran, Surah 7, Ayat 180, we have the word Al-Asma, referring to the names and qualities known as Lahut, or the realm of direct divine manifestation. This is a realm closer to us than our jugular vein. See Al-Quran 50:16. Yet extending further than time does. The exception to this is the Aramaic word shem, or name. This also has the meaning of heaven, found within the Sama in Al-Quran 67, 16, and 17. That is the sky. But we shouldn't confine our ideas of God to the sky. When we do that, God when we do that, God may show us out of which we love. When we don't find our God. See Al-Quran 352. When we think of how God manifests in certain ways, our focus in life changes towards those ends. When I think of God and goodness, I'll know more of it in my life. And you say after my life? If the God wills it, inshallah. A change in focus will cause the effects you truly should strive for. Fiery air and airy water bid each other adieu. I hope this story will help you start anew. Now, my female voice is a bit off, and I really can't imitate the Princess of Cups, so if she sees this, I'm not attempting to mimic you or make fun or something. I'm just trying to use a different voice, and that's the only thing that I can do today that to represent a female voice. So I'll close by showing you again my multicolored pen drawing here of 99 names with English, if you want to bid on it.